Welcome to the deep dive where we dive deep, and today we're taking a look at something pretty mysterious. The human desire to know the future. You ever feel that pull?
Absolutely. It's almost like an itch we can't scratch, wanting to just, to know what's coming.
Yeah, and we've got these excerpts. They're from a text. It's called The Human Desire to Know the Future.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward title.
To the point.
Yeah. But the content is fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
So, ready to jump in, ready to unravel this whole mystery together.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so let's start with maybe the most basic question. Why? Why are we so drawn to knowing what tomorrow brings? The text, it outlines these three core reasons, and I have to say they each kind of resonate in a different way. The first one, control. It's like this deep human need for security, for knowing what's coming so we can, brace ourselves, almost like we're building this fortress, a fortress against the storm.
It's very true. I mean, think about it. That desire for control, it's everywhere. It's in everything. From all this detailed financial planning we do to even just like choosing a career path. I mean, it's all about minimizing risk, right? Trying to maximize predictability in a world that often feels, completely chaotic.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And that brings us to the second reason, which is learning from the past. And the text, it describes this as like having a magical compass.
Yeah.
A magical compass that can guide us through uncharted waters. So it's kind of like we're trying to peek into the potential consequences of our actions, right? And then using that knowledge to hopefully, make wiser choices. Maybe avoid repeating the same mistakes again and again.
That's really interesting because it kind of suggests this complex relationship that we have with time itself.
Right.
We're not just looking ahead, we're also drawing on the past.
Yeah.
The past to navigate the future. It's almost like we're trying to build this more complete map, a map of our lives with all the possible routes and destinations.
Yeah. It's like seeking patterns.
Yeah.
Trying to make sense of cause and effect, right? And that craving for understanding leads us to the third reason that the text highlights, and that is opportunity. The future, it holds so much promise, right?
Yeah.
So much potential. Like it's this chance to shape our destinies. I mean, think about whether it's something small like planting a garden or something huge like launching a business. It's that possibility of future rewards that drives us.
Yeah, and that ties into planning too.
Right.
The whole act of envisioning something you want, envisioning that outcome, and then taking those steps to actually bring it to life. There's optimism in that. You have to have optimism. You have to have a belief that we can actually, influence the course of our lives. But here's where it gets really interesting. The source. It emphasizes this idea. Future-oriented thinking. It can be a double-edged sword.
Okay, hold on. Let's break that down. The potential downsides, the downsides of dwelling too much on tomorrow. What does the text say? What does it say about the risks?
Well, for one, it cautions against falling into unrealistic fantasies. When we let our hopes get too detached from reality, we risk disappointment. We even risk a decline in motivation. It's almost like chasing a mirage in the desert. We use all this energy pursuing something that's not even real, and that leads to just disillusionment.
So dream big, but be practical too.
Exactly.
What else should we be mindful of? What else should we be watching out for?
The text, it also warns about excessive worry. It's like being trapped in this constant storm of anxiety, constantly anticipating the worst possible thing that can happen. And this can be especially hard for people who have an intolerance for uncertainty, a concept that the text goes into a bit more.
Intolerance for uncertainty. Okay, now you've got me really curious. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so the text, it suggests that intolerance for uncertainty is this major risk factor for anxiety disorders. There's even a diagnostic tool. It's called the Intolerance of Uncertainty Scale, IUS, and it measures how much we crave predictability and how much we struggle when things feel ambiguous. Think about it like this. Imagine you're offered a promotion. It's exciting, of course, but it also comes with all these these new responsibilities and potential unknowns, right? Someone with high intolerance for uncertainty, they might fixate on those unknowns, on what could go wrong, and then that leads to this anxiety, this crippling anxiety that kind of overshadows the potential benefits.
So it's about recognizing that discomfort with the unknown is natural, but when it becomes excessive, that's when it can really hold us back. And the text also mentions that dwelling on the negative parts, the negative aspects of the future, can actually fuel depression. It's almost like we're fixated on the shadows and we're kind of blinding ourselves to the light that might also be there.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about balance. It's all about balance, isn't it? Embracing the possibilities, but not letting the anxiety or negativity consume us. And the good news is that the text, it does give us some guidance on how to strike that balance.
Okay. So we know that balance is key, but how do we actually achieve it? What practical advice does the text offer? How do we navigate this complicated relationship with the future?
Well, it starts with a really honest comparison, an honest comparison of the future and the present. It's almost like carefully charting a course on a map, identifying any obstacles, and then developing strategies to overcome them. So instead of just blindly hoping for the best, we kind of equip ourselves. We equip ourselves with the tools and the knowledge we need to navigate those challenges.
Right. It's about preparation, being prepared.
Yeah.
But we also have to accept that we can't control everything.
Yeah.
So what does the text say about how we deal with that? How we deal with that inherent uncertainty?
It stresses how important it is to develop a tolerance for uncertainty. It's about accepting that we can't predict everything, right? And learning to navigate the unknown with courage and with resilience. So instead of just clinging to these rigid expectations, we cultivate flexibility and adaptability. We allow ourselves to adjust course as we go.
Man, that's such a crucial skill.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world. It's like learning to dance with the wind. To find stability even when the ground beneath us is shifting. But what about those moments when uncertainty feels, I don't know, overwhelming? What practical steps can we take to kind of manage those feelings, to keep them in check?
That's where the text suggests focusing on what we can control. Focusing on what we can control in the present. It's about tending our own garden, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nurturing the things that bring us joy and meaning. It's a way to kind of ground ourselves, to ground ourselves amidst all the turbulence, to find a sense of agency even when the future feels so unpredictable. It's funny you should say that. You should use that analogy of tending a garden, because the text, it actually talks about how our brains are wired to deal with the future, to grapple with the future, even if we don't realize it.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm curious. Tell me more about that, about this subconscious element of future thinking. What's actually going on in our minds?
So the text points out that our brains are constantly predicting and modeling the future, almost like running simulations. Simulations based on our past experiences and what's happening around us right now. And it's a really, really important function because it allows us to anticipate potential outcomes and then make informed decisions. I mean, think about it. Crossing a busy street, you're not just reacting to what's happening at that exact moment.
Right.
Your brain is actually predicting the movement of the cars. It's assessing the risks and then guiding your steps to make sure you reach the other side, safely.
Wow, it's like we have this built-in radar system. It's scanning the environment, looking for clues about what might happen next. But I imagine this forecasting ability can also lead us to anxiety.
Right.
Especially when those predictions are focused on negative possibilities.
Exactly. And that's why the text stresses the importance of noticing those anxious thoughts and consciously choosing to focus on more positive or realistic outcomes. It's about training our minds, training our minds to be more discerning, to question those worst case scenarios and replace them with more balanced perspectives.
Right. Right. So it's not about ignoring the potential dangers, but
Yeah.
but finding a more balanced and realistic way to kind of assess them. I'm also curious about the strategies that the text suggests for dealing with those moments when uncertainty feels, I don't know, really overwhelming. We've talked about focusing on what we can control, but are there other approaches? Are there other things we can do?
Yeah, there are. The text, it talks about two main coping mechanisms, two main ways to kind of deal with this. And those are acceptance and avoidance. Acceptance is kind of what it sounds like. It involves acknowledging the uncertainty, and choosing to live with it. You know, it's about recognizing that we can't control everything. We can't control everything, and finding a way to kind of be at peace, amidst the unknown. It's almost like surrendering to the current of a river, trusting that it will eventually lead us to where we need to be, even if there are some rough patches, some rapids along the way.
You know, that sounds really hard,
Yeah.
really challenging, especially for people who really crave certainty.
It is. It can be.
What about avoidance? How does that strategy work?
Avoidance. Well, avoidance is about actively trying to avoid anything that triggers those feelings of uncertainty. You know, it's like we're building walls around ourselves, desperately trying to shut out the unpredictable parts of life. And it might provide some temporary relief, but the text warns that constantly avoiding things can actually be really harmful. It can prevent us from really engaging with life, from having all these different experiences, and ultimately it kind of hinders our personal growth. I mean, imagine living in this beautiful world, but refusing to leave your house because you're afraid of what might happen. You might feel safe, but you'd miss out on so much. You'd miss out on so much beauty, so much adventure.
So it's a powerful image, and it really highlights the downsides of letting fear kind of dictate our choices. And the text, it seems like it's advocating for a more courageous approach.
Yeah.
You know, one that acknowledges the risks, but doesn't let them paralyze us.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot, that sweet spot between caution and exploration, between knowing that there are dangers, but also being curious, being resilient. And that I think is where the text's main message about balance really comes in.
So it's not about getting rid of uncertainty altogether.
Yeah.
But more about learning to have a healthier relationship with it.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that uncertainty is just a part of life, part of being human, and that by learning to navigate it well with grace and wisdom, we can actually achieve amazing things. We can live much more fulfilling lives.
And that kind of brings us back to those three core reasons we were talking about before.
Right.
The control, the learning, and the opportunity. The desire to know the future. It's ultimately about wanting to shape our own destiny, to create lives that are both meaningful and secure. But the key is the text keeps saying is finding that balance between anticipating the future and embracing the present, between planning our journey and just enjoying the ride. What are your thoughts on this, and based on what the text is saying?
I think it's such a profound insight, and it's especially relevant now.
Right.
in this world that we live in, this fast-paced, this information-saturated world. We're constantly bombarded with predictions and projections and anxieties about what tomorrow might bring, and it's so easy to get caught up in all that future-oriented thinking and lose sight of what's happening right now, lose sight of the beauty, lose sight of the lessons of the present moment.
Yeah. It's like we're so focused on on reaching the destination. We're so focused on reaching the destination that we forget to look around, to appreciate the scenery along the way.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And that's where the text's emphasis on mindfulness, on present moment awareness becomes so important. It's about learning to really savor those simple joys, to appreciate the richness of each experience, even amidst all the uncertainty and complexity of our world.
And it's about realizing that the future isn't something to be afraid of. It's not something to be controlled, but rather it's this realm of infinite possibilities just waiting to be explored.
Well said. Well said. And maybe by embracing that mystery, embracing the mystery of what lies ahead, by being curious, by having a sense of wonder, maybe that's how we unlock a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
As we kind of reach the final part of our deep dive into the human desire to know the future.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about this idea that maybe it's not about conquering the unknown, but more about learning to live with it. What do you think?
I think that's a really, really lovely way to put it. The text definitely seems to be saying that sometimes our obsession with trying to predict the future, it can prevent us from seeing the beauty and the richness of right now, of the present moment. It's almost like we're so busy trying to avoid the storms that we forget to appreciate the calm waters that we're sailing on right now.
And it's not just about appreciating the good times either.
Right.
It's also about those challenges, those unexpected detours, and seeing them as opportunities for growth, for learning.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The text reminds us that life is rarely a straight line. There are gonna be twists and turns and moments of uncertainty and even periods of darkness. But it's often in those difficult times and those challenges that we find that we discover our greatest strengths. Our resilience. Think about a seed buried deep in the soil. It needs the darkness, it needs the pressure to break through, to blossom into something beautiful.
It's a powerful analogy. So instead of seeing uncertainty as this threat, we can kind of reframe it as a catalyst for transformation. But I imagine that kind of shift in perspective, it takes courage, wouldn't you say?
It does. It requires us to step outside. To step outside of our comfort zones, to kind of embrace the unknown, to be curious, to be willing to learn, and it's not always easy. There will be times when we feel afraid, and we just want to go back. We want to go back to what's familiar. We want to go back to what's predictable and safe.
So how do we handle those moments? How do we find that strength? That strength to keep going, to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead feels so uncertain.
Well, the text offers some good advice here. It talks about the importance of having this strong inner compass, a set of values and principles that guide us, that guide our decisions, that guide our actions, even when things are ambiguous. It's about trusting our intuition. It's about remembering our past experiences and recognizing that we already have the wisdom, we already have the resilience to deal with life's uncertainties.
It's about remembering that we're not alone. We're not alone in this. We have our own inner strength, and we also have the support of the people around us. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's about understanding that the future isn't, it isn't this fixed thing. It isn't predetermined. It's like a tapestry. It's like a tapestry that's woven from all our choices, all our actions, and all the interactions, the countless interactions that we have with the world.
Yeah.
With the world around us.
So instead of trying to predict everything or control every single outcome we can, focus on making choices that feel right to us, choices that align with our values, and taking actions that move us closer to our goals, and just embracing the mystery of it all with a sense of wonder, with a sense of openness.
That's beautifully put. And maybe by letting go. By letting go of that need to be certain, by allowing ourselves to be surprised, to be delighted by the unexpected twists and turns, that life throws our way. Maybe that's how we find a deeper sense of purpose, a deeper sense of fulfillment.
It's about embracing the journey with all its uncertainties, with all its possibilities, and realizing that the real magic isn't in knowing what tomorrow will bring, but in living each day, living each day to the fullest, with curiosity, with courage, and with an open heart.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
We have, and as we come up from this exploration of the human desire to know the future, I don't know about you, but I feel this sense of awe, and also this sense of liberation, awe at how complex our relationship with time and uncertainty is, and liberation from this illusion, this illusion that we can or that we even should try to control every single thing that happens.
It really has been a fascinating journey, and I really hope that our listeners feel similarly equipped to kind of navigate their own relationship with the future.
Yes, dear listeners, as you go forward, as you venture forth, may you find that balance between anticipation and acceptance, between planning for tomorrow and just savoring the moment. May your journeys be filled with wonder, and may you embrace the mystery. May you embrace the mystery of life with courage, with curiosity, and with an open heart.